The exercise files for today's course are located in the video description below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Welcome to Microsoft Word Intermediate. You're learning with Mo Jones, IT professional and educator. We'll build upon our introductory course by exploring some new tools and features, such as applying and creating your own styles in Microsoft Word, inserting and managing tables, also charts. We'll talk about how to create reusable content that we can add to our Word document. And then for our next module, Module 4, we'll talk about working with themes and templates. We'll take a look at some advanced page layout options. We'll include some referencing to objects in different parts of our document. And we'll finish up with mail merge. So go ahead and open up your copy of Microsoft Word and come right back and we'll dive right in.
Looking to support our channel and get a great deal? Become a member today to unlock ad-free videos. That's right, your favorite courses without a single ad. Interested in a specific video? Purchase one of our ad-free courses individually. Looking for even more? Gain access to exams, certificates, and exclusive content at LearnitAnytime.com. More information can be found in the video description below.
Welcome back. If you have not done so, please go ahead and open up the practice file, Word Module 3. So this is Module 3. If you want to pause the video and come right back. But here is our Word Module 3 file, and we have 4 sections for our lessons here. Not word sections, but we have 4 different areas that we can apply some of the topics that we're discussing. For Lesson 1, it's all about customizing formats using styles and themes. We'll have a chance to practice using some existing styles and creating our own. For Lesson 2, we'll talk about inserting and managing tables. Lesson 3, inserting and managing charts. And then for Lesson 4, we'll explore the Quick Parts Gallery. We'll create some content and save it to the Quick Parts Gallery so that we can use it over and over again. Let's go ahead and jump into Lesson 1. I'll press Control Home to go back to the top of my document. And for Lesson 1, we want to go ahead and take a look at some styles. Now remember, styles can be found on the Home tab, and here is our Styles command group. So let's just get a quick recap of what styles are. So I'm going to highlight the first sentence of my random text here, and here are the different styles that I can use. So I can apply the title style that comes with its own formatting, font color, size, and font type. I can apply a subtitle here as well. So here are the different styles from the style gallery. But maybe you want to go ahead and do something like create your own style. What if you want to create a style that maybe has a orange heading instead of a blue heading? We can do that. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at that. I'm actually going to apply the subtitle style to our objectives here, which is to create a style, add it to the gallery, and test them on the random text below. I'm going to go ahead and highlight this first sentence here, and I'll just apply some formatting. So let's say I always want to be able to apply the Georgia font with a, let's say, an orange color. I want to make it bold. Right? So just to keep it simple there. And maybe I'll do something else here. You know what, that's fine. I'll leave it just like that. So again, if I wanted to apply this type of format to another chunk of text, I could use the format painter, but it's a couple of clicks there as well. So what I can do is I can go ahead and add this to the styles gallery. So to do that, I'm going to highlight. Now, this is only the formatting. This will not save the actual content. Now that I have it highlighted, what I'm going to do is click on the drop down here for all of my styles on the Home tab. And right down here on the bottom, it says create a style. Now, if you hover over it, it tells you exactly what it does. we can create a style based on the formatting of the selected text. Word will store the signature look in the style gallery so that we can use it again. So I will click on Create a Style. Here's my simple Create New Style from Formatting dialog box. And it's called Style 1, and that's okay. I'll leave it there. I'm going to go ahead and press OK. And now let's go ahead and find that style. Let's say I want to apply that same style to sentence number 3. If I go back to my styles gallery, I can see that it's right here. So here's that style 1 that I just saved. I'm going to go ahead and apply that to this sentence. And there you go. Pretty good. Well, let's create another one. This time I'll go ahead and highlight this sentence here. And let's see. I'll give it the Georgia font, but I want this to be a different size. Maybe I'll make this 16. I'll make it bold, italicized. I'll give it a nice blue color. So something like that. I'll go ahead and save it to the Styles gallery as I did before. Click on Create Style. So here's the style. So we have two parts to it. We have the name of the style and we have the preview of what it would look like. Now, if I wanted to make some more advanced updates to this particular style, I can click on Modify here and I'll have some more options to choose from. So here's the preview of what the text looks like. Here's some of the basics, right? So Georgia font, 16, bold, italicized. It's that blue here as well. Well, what I want to do down here is on the very bottom, I have some options. I do want to add this to the Quick Styles gallery. So this is already done. But what I want to do here, instead of only being able to access this style in this document, I want to make sure that it's always available every time I open Word. So I'll go ahead and click here. And then I'll click on the Format tab. Let's see what other options are available when it comes to formatting. So there's some other formatting that we can apply in here. Font commands, paragraph commands, borders, different things here as well. If I click on font, here's some of the basics here that I can use. Again, here's the preview of what it would look like. If I want to convert this to all caps, I can go ahead and press OK. So notice how my style is updated to include all caps. I'll try another one here. Let's check out a border. Let's see what the border will look like. Maybe I'll put a box around it with a orange color. It's going to apply to the paragraph. I'll go ahead and press OK. As you can see, it doesn't really translate here too much as well. Right? So I'll go ahead and actually just remove that. Go back to the border, and I don't want any border here. Press OK, and I'll go ahead and press OK again. And so what happens is any changes you make to an existing style, it's going to apply those changes to the current styles that have been applied as well. I'm going to go ahead and modify heading 1. So I'll right click on the heading 1. Again, this is an existing style, but what if I just want it to be a different color instead of that blue? I'm going to go ahead and click on Modify here. I'll call this heading 1A. And I can go ahead and just do a simple update here, like change the color. Right? So I can either create a new one or I can update this current one. Let's see what this looks like if I just update this here. So as you can see, the heading 1 here automatically updated. All of my lessons have the heading 1. Because I modify that simple modification to make it orange, all of my heading 1s now reflect that orange color here as well. Right? So when we're creating styles, we can keep it simple, or we could make it a little more complex. We can always modify an existing style, or simply just kind of duplicate it and make some changes to it there as well. Go ahead and create a few styles and practice them here. Go ahead and apply that style to different places in your document and come right back. Welcome back. Let's move on to lesson number 2. We'll talk about inserting and managing tables. The first thing we'll talk about is how to insert a table. So I'll go ahead and add a line here. And to insert a table, we want to go ahead and click on the Insert tab. And right here, we'll notice that Tables has its own command group. If we click on this drop down, we'll have a list of options that we can use to insert a table. We'll notice a couple of different options here. One thing to note is we can also copy a table. So if we copy a table from another Microsoft Office application, whether it be Excel or PowerPoint or even Outlook, we can copy and paste a table into here as well. But for now, let's click on this Add a Table dialog and let's see what options are available. So at the very top, you notice we have a few different ways that we can insert a table. Most common is to simply draw the table. So maybe I want something like a 4x4 table. I have 4 rows and 4 columns. I can use that. Maybe I just want a 3x3 table. I can go ahead and do that as well. I'll actually go ahead and add that to see what that looks like. So here are my 3 rows and here are my 3 columns. Here's my little select tool here for the table. Now notice the table, this is an object, so we get the Table Design tab. And this is where we can do things like add a table style. We also have a Layout tab for our table. And this is where we have all the goodies, where we can insert and delete rows and columns, merge cells. We can specify the alignment and some other pretty nice things that we can do here as well. That's one way. I'm going to go ahead and delete this table. To do that, I'll just click on the table here. I can press delete, or I'll just click on the delete table command here from the Layout tab. I'll go back to the Insert tab here. So we can either draw the table. The other way is that we can insert a table. Let's see what that option provides us with. So this one provides us with just a little more detail, still asking us how many rows and columns do we want. And then down here, we can specify the auto fit behavior, right? So it's automatically going to resize the table to make it as wide as it needs to be to fill up our entire row here. Auto fit to contents, we'll take a look at this in just a little bit here as well. This will automatically basically squeeze all the data into each of those cells for us. If we auto fit to the window, as we resize our Word document, it's always going to be resized based on the width of our window as well. Right. If we want this to kind of be the default dimensions for new tables, we can check this box here as well. So that's the second way. I'll go ahead and insert a 3x3 table. And there you go. Kind of same thing. The main difference is we can choose the auto fit behavior ahead of time. I'm going to go ahead and delete this table here as well. We'll look at one more way that we can insert a table. Go back to the Insert Table command. And if I click on Add a Table, you'll see we have what's called Excel spreadsheet. Now, something special is going to happen when I click on this. And so I'll go ahead and click on here. So we'll notice when I click on here, it opens up the Excel interface for me. Now this is pretty nice. What this allows me to do is gives me all the tools that I need to be able to manage this table. The other two options, when we just inserted the table by drawing it and specifying how many rows and columns we need, we just have basic formatting. But here with Excel, we have all of the ribbon tools. We can use formulas, all of the data capabilities. We have everything that we need to be able to do this. So the way that this works is when you insert an Excel table, once you're finished working on the table, it's going to insert the table onto your document for us. So I'll do a quick table here. I'll just go for just a couple of products. So this is going to be product 1. And then let's see. I'll take advantage of the autofill behavior, and I'll just put some sales data in here. So let's say quarter 1, quarter 2, and quarter 3. And that's it. Okay. So now I can go ahead and format these if I want to. Because I'm using Excel, I have all the bells and whistles. So I'll just put some numbers in here. And let's see, I'll try and get some type of pattern in here. And that's it. I'll go ahead and close the Excel window here, and let's see what our table looks like. So as you can see, after I close the Excel window, it basically loads that Excel table here into my document. So those are the different ways that we can insert a table into Microsoft Word. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and insert a table. We'll draw a table. We just want a basic 3x3 table. And we'll just add our headers here. So I do have a list of products. And we'll track the Q1 sales of Q1. We'll also track the Q2. So as you can see, we have 3 rows and 3 columns. So we have 9 cells. We can press the tab key to kind of navigate the different cells here. We can also use the arrow keys, up, down, left, right, so forth and so on. When you continue pressing, if you continue using the arrow keys, though, it will extend beyond the table. So simplest way is maybe just to click on a particular cell. I'll go ahead and add a product here. So I'll say Immune Boost product. Now, if I want to go down to the next cell, I need to use the arrow key. If I press enter, it just expands the current cell. It does not allow me to go to the next cell here. So I'll press down and I'll go ahead and add another product here. So I have Detox. So those are the basics here. Now let's talk about just managing rows and columns. So in this case, what I want to do, I want to go ahead and add 2 columns to the right, one for quarter 3 and one for quarter 4. If I click on that last column, now when you're inserting a row or a column, it's based on the row or the column that you're currently interacting with. So it's based on your cursor location. Because I want to add a row to the right, what I want to do is make sure that I choose any one of these cells and a column to the right. I want to make sure I choose any one of these cells in this last column. I don't need to highlight the entire column. That will work as well. So I'll just go ahead and click here, and I'll click on the Layout tab. And on the Layout tab, you'll notice that we have an entire command group dedicated to rows and columns. I don't want to insert a row above, not below. Don't want to insert a column to the left. I want to insert a column to the right. So I'll use this tool, and here's my other column. I'll go ahead and put Q3 in here. I'll show you another way to add another column. For my quarter 4 column, I'll right click this time. Again, want to make sure you select on the column where you want to add the other column here as well. So I'll right click on that last column. Here, a long list of commands I can use. Here's insert. I want to insert a column to the right. And there we go. There is quarter 4. I also want to insert a row below for another product. So I click any cell in the bottom row here, and I'll just right click and I'll say insert rows below. Right. Now I can go ahead and add another product here as well. Right. So I'll go ahead and add a Energize product. And there we go. So now I can go ahead and add some content in here as well. But what I would like to do, I would like to go ahead and insert a row at the top so I can add a title for my actual table here. So I'm going to insert a row above. So again, I can either right click and choose insert row above, or I can just use the insert above from the layout tab. Right. So I'll insert above. Now here's my row at the very top. But as you can see, I have cells here, and that's not what I want. I want this to be one big cell. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and highlight all of these cells here, and then I'll click on the merge cell command. That will merge it into one big cell for me. Then I can go ahead and add my title and center the text as well. So I'll highlight those cells in the top row and I'll click on merge cells. Now it's just one big cell. And now I can just go ahead and put in my, call this year, product sales. Right? Now when you're working with the text that's in these cells, we can go back to the Home tab and we can do things like change the color. Right? So if we want to, we can do that. We can apply all these font and paragraph commands to them here as well. But what I want to do is I want to go ahead and use a table style. So I'll click on Table Design. Let's take a look at the styles that are available. So if you click on the Table Design here, you notice that we have several styles to be able to choose from. I'll click on this drop down here to take a look at the entire gallery of the table styles that are available. And we can see we have some plain tables. So this is kind of the default that I'm using right now. And if you hover over these different table styles, you can see it's applying that change or giving you a preview of what that would look like. So all these tables, they have their own formatting. We have grid tables. We can clearly see all the cells have a border and a color. If you scroll down, they have different formatting. Sometimes the first column has a special formatting. Sometimes the first row has special formatting. Here are list tables down here at the bottom as well. So those are the two options that we have. I'm going to go for this basic list table here. List table 2, accent 5. Right. So there we go. All right, so there's a table design. So go ahead and choose a table design. You can always change it right from here just by hovering over a style that you like and choosing that particular style. Actually, I'll go with this one. List table 3, accent 1. Right. Now, what I want to do with this table, we already know how we can insert rows, we can insert columns, we can also delete a row and delete a column. So if I want to delete this particular row, I just need to click on the row. If you feel more comfortable highlighting the entire row, that's perfectly fine. But you can just go ahead and click on the row, click on the delete command here under the layout tab, and we can use the delete row command. I'll press Ctrl Z to undo that, and I'm good to go. Let's click on the layout tab here. Some other things that we can do with the table. We can add text, we can edit the text, we can edit the text inside of each cell. We can select the entire table and specify the formatting for the entire table. So if I wanted all of this to be the Georgia font, I can do that. If I wanted to change the font color, I can go ahead and do that here as well. Let's go to the layout tab. Let's take a look at some of the other layout options. But first, I want you to go ahead, apply a table style. Go ahead and add as many rows and columns as you want to. Go ahead and merge that top row and come right back. So now that we've added a couple of rows and columns, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the layout options here for our table. Right. So I'll click on my table. I'll go ahead and click on the layout tab here. And what I want to do, I want to go ahead and center everything on my table. Right now, we can see that everything is, in terms of alignment, everything is aligned to the top left of each cell. So what I want to do is I want to make sure everything is center aligned in every cell. Just for me, it makes it a little easier for me to read. Now, if I click on, let's say, my products here, and I click on this align center, so it's going to center the text horizontally and vertically within the cell, it only applies that to that particular cell. So if I want to apply that to the entire table, I can either highlight the entire table like this, and then choose the Align Center. Notice how that center aligns everything for me. I'll go ahead and undo that. The other thing that we can do is if we click on the four-way crosshair here, right over here, that actually selects the entire table as well. So if I click here, I can go ahead and apply some type of universal formatting to the entire table as well. So that's what we can do. I'm going to go ahead and put some numbers in here. I'll go ahead and pause the video. I'll add some numbers and I'll come right back. Okay, I was able to add some data here. So here are my products: Immune Boost, Detox, and Energize. Here are my quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4 sales for each of my products here as well. And so that's my table. Looks pretty nice, right? The other thing that we can do is we can take a look at the auto-fit behavior of our actual table. Now remember, one of the options when we're inserting a table is to specify the auto-fit behavior ahead of time. On the Layout tab, here's the auto-fit. Let's go ahead and toggle these different options here and let's see what happens. The first one is to auto-fit the contents. If I click here, so notice what it does. It made my table only as big as it needs to be so that every cell can accurately display all the information in that particular cell. So that's the auto fit contents. And then we have auto fit window. So this will use the entire row to display the actual table. And it's still evenly distributing the table for us here as well. So if I were to resize my document here, it would resize accordingly. And then the other one, fixed column width, we can use that one there as well. Right? So just a couple of different options. My preferred one is to always auto fit the window because I'm constantly resizing my Microsoft Word document here as well. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and change my table design because why not? I'll go with, let's see, go with this one. And I'm good to go. So those are the basics for inserting a table in Microsoft Word. Now what I'll do, let's see, I want to go ahead and copy this data here. And I'm going to insert a table from Excel. So let's see what that would look like. I'll go ahead and click on Insert. I'll use Excel Spreadsheet. And I'll just copy and paste that data right in here. Now what's really nice about Excel, now I can go ahead and use different things like the formatting, right? And I can go ahead and can also go ahead and put summaries in here, right? So if I wanted to use the sum function, I can summarize the data here. So this is just another benefit of inserting a table via Excel. So you have more options available there as well. I'll go ahead and close this. Let's see what this looks like. Okay. So there we go. Now, if I want to make any changes to this, notice when I click on it now, I do not have the table layout and design options here. We're basically getting the output of our table from Excel. So if I want to manage this, I can double click on it. That reopens Excel for me. And now if I want to make any changes, I can go ahead and make some changes in here as well. Right. So there we go. So if I want to maybe add another product in here, I can go ahead and do that. Right. So I can insert it anywhere. I'll just call this one the Mojo. Don't have any data yet. Let's close our Excel window, and there we go. Right. So a couple of options. You can either manage the table right inside of Microsoft Word. We have the basic tools that we need to be able to manage it. Or if you use the Excel overlay, then you have more robust tools to be able to manage the table. Any visual changes, you would need to make those changes in Excel in order for them to show up here as well. Right. So very good. Let's go ahead and come right back. Go ahead and insert a table from Excel. Copy and paste your data from your table right into Excel. And once you have it up, go ahead and double click on it, as I did here. Make some changes, close the Excel window, and you should be good to go. Come right back, we'll move on to lesson number 3. Now that we've covered the basics of tables, another great visual to add to your Word document is a chart. So you can either say it with a table or say it with a chart. To insert a chart, we can click on the Insert tab, and we have our insert tools that we can use here. So here's Insert, and we have Illustrations, and this is where we'll find our chart. Now what happens is when you insert a chart in Microsoft Word, it's going to open up a small Microsoft Excel window. So you'll have your small Microsoft Excel window at the top, and you'll have your chart on the bottom. Now the chart is connected to the data that is in your Excel. So whatever information we put into the Excel spreadsheet is going to be displayed on our chart. And there's different charts that we can use. By default, it gives us the clustered column chart. We can choose another chart here as well. And what I'll do, I'm going to go ahead and copy the data from my table above here. So I just want the products and the quarterly sales. Let's create a chart from this particular data. So I'll highlight, and I'll right click and I'll copy that to the clipboard. Let's go back down to lesson 3 here. And let's go ahead and insert a chart. So here's the Insert Chart dialog box. So there's different charts that we can use. Here's the clustered column. Really nice chart to be able to use when you have multiple series, like in this case quarters, and different variations of the clustered column. So stacked, 3D clustered. We can always change the chart after we insert it here. If you want a line chart, here are different line charts, pie chart, bar chart. Some of the new charts like tree map, the bigger the box, the greater the value, and sunburst as well. Now keep in mind that all these charts are good candidates for displaying different types of information. For example, a pie chart generally will only give you analysis on one particular series at a time. Well, let's go ahead and keep it simple. We'll insert the clustered column chart here. I'll go ahead and press OK. And as I mentioned before, we have on the bottom, here's the chart. It's just waiting for our data. On the top, this is where we manage the data, or this is where we input the data that we want to be displayed on the chart. So it's helping us out here. It provides us with just a couple of default categories, categories 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we have our series over here. In this case, we have 3 series. So the way the clustered column chart works is we have clusters. So here's our category 1 cluster. And the blue bar represents our series 1, then series 2, and then series 3. So that's pretty much how that works. So it's a really nice option for a chart. I can actually type in here if I want to. So if I wanted to maybe put my products in here, right? I could say this is detox. And you can see it's already changing here on the bottom of my chart. If I start putting in some numbers in here, let's say 500, 700. So as we're adding the data to our Excel, it's actually updating the chart for us as well. So we can do this manually, but I already copied the data from my table. I'm going to go ahead and paste this in here. All right, so here we go. My data is pasted in here. Right. So I just have my products, Q1, 2, 3, and 4. Here are my 3 products, Immune Boost, Detox, and Energize. Here are the values as well. So pretty much, this is a really nice feature because before we close this Excel dialog box here, we can take a look at our chart, make sure that the data is showing that's accurate. It's showing the way that we want it to show. Okay, I'm good to go. I'm going to go ahead and close this dialog box here. Okay, so we just added our chart. Well, what can we do next? Well, there's a lot of things that we can do. We'll notice that we have a chart design tab here, which we'll use. But before we do that, we just want to go ahead and edit the data. So let's go ahead and edit the data. What if we wanted to make some changes to our data here? What can we do? Well, let's click on the chart design tab and let's click on edit data. If I click here, it reopens that Excel window for me. And now what I can do is I can come in here and let's say in quarter 4 for Energize, instead of 6,500, we had a big jump. So it went from 6,500 to, let's say, 16,500. Now look at that. We can see the bar jumps up right away. So if you ever need to edit the data, we can just click on Edit Data. We can come back right here and make any changes here as well. Right? We need to change the name of a product. We can actually do that here as well. I'm going to go ahead and close this window. Here is the updated information. Another good thing to see here is, what if you don't want all of the data on your chart to be displayed? If I click on Select Data, so notice here, whatever I have highlighted, this is what will be displayed on my chart. So if I just wanted to display the data from quarter 1 through 3 and exclude quarter 4, I can just simply highlight all of my data for quarter 1, 2, and 3. I'm leaving out quarter 4. If I press OK, we can see now my chart is showing quarter 1, 2, and 3. And we can see that the Excel, it's excluding column E or quarter 4. I'll go ahead and press X and I'm good to go. So that's how we insert a chart. That's how we change the data. And that's how we also select the data that we want to be displayed on our chart. Go ahead and insert your chart, add any data that you want in there. Just practice editing the data and practice selecting only the data that you want to be displayed on the chart. Come right back and we'll customize this chart to our liking. Welcome back. So here is our chart. And again, this is an object. So because we're interacting with another object, we get a contextual tab called Chart Design. We were already able to select the data and edit the data here as well. Some other things that we can do is we can change the chart type. So if we wanted to change this to another type of chart, we can do that. We can also customize the chart. So we can do things like add chart elements, apply a quick layout, and even change the colors here as well. It can be a little overwhelming with the ribbon. So what we're going to do, we're going to use these buttons here on the right of our chart. So this plus sign icon here, this allows us to customize the chart elements. So for example, if I want to add a chart title, do I want to add some more details on the horizontal and the vertical axis? Do I want the numbers to show at the top of my bars here? We also have the nice little paintbrush that gives us different styles that we can choose from. So we can choose an existing style. They have different orientations and it presents your chart in a different way. So it's a quick way to just kind of choose a template, if you will. And we can also change the colors. So let's take a look at these different options here as well. Let's go ahead and click on the chart elements. And we have a nice little dialog box here. And we can turn things off or on. So if I were to turn the axes off, you can see we're missing our detail down here. We don't have the details. We don't have the numbers on the left. So you may want to turn that on. I'll leave that turned on. Now everything on this chart is interactive. If you hover over a particular bar, it gives you the information. This is the Q1 value for the Immune Boost product. The value is at 7,500. Okay. So we can always get a quick tooltip once we hover over these bars as well. Here's the axis titles. So if I turn this on, this basically just gives an extra text box here, allowing me to provide a little more context in terms of what's being displayed. So it's a basic text box, so it comes with its own formatting. We can add our own data in there, and we can change the font and things like that as well. I don't want that. I'm just going to go ahead and click back on my chart. I'll turn off the axis titles. For the chart title, you can turn it off. Gives it a little more room for your chart. I'll leave it turned on, and I'll go ahead and put a title in here. I'll just say 2023 product sales. There we go. And I can also do something like this. So if I want to, I can change the font color in here as well. Again, it's a text box, so I can make changes. I'll leave it as is because I'm going to eventually use one of these styles. So here's the other option. Now for each of these elements, you'll notice we have a small arrow to the right, indicating that we have some other sub-level items that we can use, such as the location of the chart. Maybe I want it to be overlaid on my chart, as opposed to taking up a lot of space in the top. I can do that. Here are the data labels. So if I turn on the data labels, basically shows the numbers. The numbers are being displayed at the top of the bar. Makes it a little easier instead of trying to follow the number from left to right here. And there's different types of options. So I can show it inside the base. Here's the data callout, which is pretty cool. Works best though when you don't have, 9 different bars. So I'll leave the data labels basic here as default. Here's the data table. Data table is like a hybrid chart. So you basically have your chart on the top and you have the actual data table down here on the bottom. It comes with its own legend. So I can actually go ahead and just turn this one off. Right. I'll leave the data table turned on and I'll turn off the legend here. Now, as we can see, the more of these elements we add to the chart, the less room we have, right? And then we have some other things here like error bars and trend line doesn't really apply here. So I'm good to go. Just some basics here, customizations. Now, here are the different chart styles that I can use. So let's check these out. Here's the basic style, nothing fancy here. Here's style number 2, which is pretty nice because as we can see, style number 2, our numbers are being displayed in a horizontal manner. So it's a little easier to read. They're not overlapping each other. So that's one option. Here's style number 3. If we just kind of scroll down, there's different styles that we can choose from. Style 5. I like style 8. So here's style 8, nice dark theme. Pretty modern, vibrant colors here. And if we keep going down, so again, 14 styles to choose from. Really nice way to just quickly get some nice style for your chart here as well. I'm going to go ahead and choose style 14. And then I'll click on the color here. So we have 4 colorful palettes to choose from. Here's colorful palette 2, 3, and 4. And on the bottom, we have some monochromatic colors to choose from. Now in just a little bit, we'll take a look at themes for module 4. So all these colors, they're all based on the current theme that we have selected using the standard Office theme, unless we have changed the theme here as well. Okay. So those are the basics that we can do. I'm going to go ahead and stick to the colorful theme here, and I'm good to go. So those actions that we just performed, they're also available here on the ribbon. So here are the colors, here are those quick layouts, Here are the chart elements, and also here are the different chart styles as well. Go ahead and customize your chart elements. Go ahead and choose a quick style. And if you want to, go ahead and choose a color palette and come right back. Welcome back. Let's move on to lesson 4, inserting and creating quick parts. So what exactly is a quick part? And where can we find our quick parts? Well, quick parts is a gallery of pre-formatted content. If we click on the Insert tab, head on over to the Text command group, we'll notice we have quick parts. We see the down arrow. This lets us know that we'll be presented with a list of options here as well. So if I click on that drop down here, I can see that I have auto text. I can insert a field for the document property, such as the title, author, which is me. I can insert a field, and we can take a look at the building blocks organizer. Let's take a look at the building blocks organizer to get a better understanding of what the quick parts gallery is. So basically the quick parts gallery, part of that is our building blocks organizer. So here is where we'll find the library of different objects or content that we can add to our Microsoft Word document. So for example, here are bibliographies that we can insert. Right? So these are built in. Here are different cover pages. So these cover pages, they're already pre-designed. We just need to go ahead and insert them into our document. They already have tables, shapes, colors, fields in there as well. Several cover pages. I'll scroll down here. And we have footers. So different types of footers that we can insert into our document. Let me scroll down a little bit so we can see it. And if I keep going down, here are different headers. So here's the facet header, here's the Austin header, blank headers, blank header with 3 columns. So when we're inserting things, and we also have tables as well. So we go down to tables here. So actually some tables that we can automatically drop in. Here's a table of contents. We'll cover that a little later. But here are calendars. So if you want to insert a calendar, we can go ahead and do that. So the quick parts gallery builds upon a style. So we are able to create styles earlier on, but it only saves the formatting. But what if I wanted to save the text and the formatting? What I can do is add that to the quick parts gallery and use that over and over and over again. So what if I wanted to insert a disclaimer, but I don't feel like writing the disclaimer every time I want to add it to Microsoft Word? I already have one created here. I'll show you how this works. I'll click on the quick parts here. And under auto text, here's my little disclaimer. Please contact Mo Jones for permission to use this document. And look at that. As soon as I add that, so this is existing formatted content that I can quickly add to my document. So as you can see, we have some formatting in here. It's Arial Black 11. It's bold and italicized. Has this red or maroon font here as well. And it also has an underline. A lot of modern word processors, you'll see this feature. Typically on the left panel, you'll see a list of content that you can use, and it's drag and drop. You can literally just drag the block of content onto your document. It already has styles, formatting, and it has the content in there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and undo this. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and create a auto text. But before we do that, let's just go ahead and insert a quick part from the building blocks organizer. I'm going to scroll down to tables so we can sort by gallery. I'll scroll down to tables, and I want to insert one of these calendar tables. So this calendar here, I'll go ahead and click on insert. And there you go. So here is my calendar that I can go ahead and insert as well. Right? It's an actual table that has the calendar in here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And let's take a look at one more. Quick Parts, Building Blocks Organizer. And let's see. I'll look for another table. Let's see, this table, I'll insert this. And there we go. So it's the Greek alphabet table, right? So again, this is pre-made and we're able to add it to any place in our document at any time. So go ahead and explore the Quick Parts gallery. Go ahead and insert a few items. And we can also just press Ctrl Z to remove that item after you have inserted it. Go ahead and do that. We'll come back and we'll actually create content with formatting and save it to the Quick Parts gallery. Let's go ahead and create something here. We'll add some text, we'll format the text, and then we'll add it to our Quick Parts gallery. I'll click on the Insert tab here, and I'm just going to add another line here, and I'll go ahead and write a simple disclaimer. So I'll say, please contact Mo Jones for assistance. Or maybe just a little help file here. So I'll go ahead and modify this. I'll go ahead and maybe I'll give this a shade. So a light blue shade behind it. I'll give it a outline. Maybe a bottom border. And I'll change this to another font. I'll go ahead and change the color. Something like that. Okay. So if I want to go ahead and be able to reuse this at any time, I'm going to go ahead and highlight it. And then I'll click on the Insert tab here. And this time when I click on Quick Parts, at the very bottom, I have the capability to save the selection to the Quick Part gallery. Now when I save it there, the next time I come back, I'll see it showing up here that I can go ahead and apply to my document. So I'll click on Save Selection to Quick Part Gallery. Here's my little Create New Building Block dialog box here. Need to go ahead and give it a name. I want to make sure I save it to the Auto Text Gallery. And if I want to put a little description in here, this is optional. I can go ahead and do that. So I'll just call this Content 1. And I want to save this to the Auto Text Gallery. Again, when we click on the Quick Parts dropdown, we want to be able to see this appear in Auto Text. So we want to make sure that this is in the Auto Text Gallery. Everything else here, we can go ahead and kind of leave these as is. I'll go ahead and press OK. So I just gave it a name, and I'm saving it to the Auto Text Gallery. I'll press OK. I'm going to go ahead and enter a few lines here, break away from that formatting, and let's go ahead and click on the Quick Parts. And now when I hover over Auto Text, here's that reusable content that I just created. And as you can see, that works just fine. Now what's really nice is we can add other things to our Quick Parts gallery. Maybe I want to insert a table. So let's go ahead and insert just a basic table, 3 by 3. And maybe I'll just say something like, last name, first name, and department. Right. I could even give it a quick style. I'll go ahead and do that. Give it a quick style. And let's see if the Quick Parts gallery will actually save this for us. So I'll go ahead and select the entire table, like this, and I'll go ahead and click on the Insert tab. And I'll save the selection to the quick part gallery. I'll call this one Content 2. I'll save this to Auto Text, and I'll put something for the description here. All right, so basic input table. I'll press OK. Now let's go ahead and give it a test. I'll come up here. Just want to break away from that formatting there. And let's see. So here it is. And look at that. So we can see it's working really well. It maintains the text, the formatting, and in this case, it even maintained the object. So this is a table that we were able to insert here as well. So those are quick parts. So at this point, you can kind of start thinking about, well, what do I want to be able to reuse as a auto text? And this is where you'll spend some time just creating the different content and adding it to the quick parts gallery there as well. Let's just take a look at a few more here. So here are quick parts. If I want to insert the document property, let's say, who's the author? So we can see Word has what's called fields. Right? When you insert things like cover pages and other types of content, they use fields. So the fields can be found. If I click on the File tab here and click on Info, over here to the right, here are the properties of my current document. So not all of these are filled out. Some will be, such as the author. Right? If I wanted to go ahead and put the title in here, I can add a title. So this is where it's pulling in the information. If I click on Show All Properties, here are all the properties of this particular document. So when we insert one of these fields, that is basically what we are doing. I'll go ahead and insert another field here, or I can go to the document property. Let's just preview this really quickly here. I'll insert a field. So here are the different fields. Maybe I want the date. So I'll put the date and time. And here are the different date and time formats. I want today's date and the time. I'll go ahead and press OK. And so it drops that in for me. So again, this is a field that we can use. So as you can see, there are a lot of different content in the quick parts gallery or the building blocks organizer. But the main thing we want to see is that we can actually go ahead and create our own content and add that to the auto text gallery here as well. Go ahead and create a few. Insert a text box, add some content in there, give it a style, insert a table, add some text in there as well, or even just create some basic text with some formatting, save them to the quick parts auto text gallery, go ahead and use them and come right back. That concludes Module 3. So just a quick recap here for Module 3. We're able to apply and create styles. We're able to insert and manage tables, also with charts. And then we're able to explore and use quick parts. Now we'll transition over to Module 4. So please go ahead and open up the Module 4 practice file. And here are our main objectives for Module 4. We'll work with themes and templates. We'll take a look at some advanced page layout options, different page breaks and adding sections to our documents. We'll learn how we can reference objects, such as inserting a table of contents. And we'll take a look at email merge as well. So go ahead and open up that practice file for Word Module 4 and come right back. Welcome to Microsoft Word Module 4. We have 4 lessons for you. The first lesson here is Lesson 5. We'll take a look at how we can use templates to automate document formatting. The first thing we want to do is go ahead and select a theme and apply it to our document. So to do that, let's go ahead and click on the Design tab. Now, before we select a theme, what exactly is a theme? Well, a theme is a combination of colors, fonts, and effects. So that's pretty much what a theme is. A set of colors, fonts, and effects for our document. Right. So you'll notice when we click on the Design tab that over to the far right, we have the option to choose our own colors that we want to use for our document. We can choose our own font, and we can choose our own effect as well. We'll get to this in a little bit. Right now, let's take a look at some existing themes. So these themes were created by professionals. The colors, they work together well. And the fonts have their own special effects as well. So right now, we're all using the basic Office theme. So if we have not changed the theme, we're all using the Office theme here. But take a look at these different themes that I can use. If I grab the scroll bar here, there are a lot of different themes that I can apply to my document. Now, as you hover over these different themes, you'll notice that the colors, the fonts, and the effects of your document are changing. So here's the gallery theme, has its own set of colors. Right. Here's Ion, Ion Board, Organic, Retrospect. If I scroll down here, here's Main Event, very bold theme. Here is Parcel and Metropolitan. So lots of different themes that we can use. Here's Wood Type, one of my favorites to use. And these themes, they can be used throughout Microsoft Office. So you can use these same themes in Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and some other applications as well. But those are the main ones that you can actually use it in. So we can do something simple like selecting a theme. I'll go ahead and select Wood Type. And what we'll do, we'll just take a look at the difference here. What are the attributes of the Wood Type theme? Well, at first glance, we can see that it is using the Rockwell. Right? So it's using the Rockwell font. We can see that we have different colors that are available. Take a look at my styles now. My styles have different colors. They're no longer that default blue. We have other colors in here that are available. If I were to insert a table or a chart, I can see that I'll have different table styles available. So these are all based on the colors that are provided with this particular theme. So that's what a theme is: colors, fonts, and effects. I'll go ahead and change my theme. Notice when you choose a theme, it changes your entire document, not just a portion of your document. If I scroll down, I'll notice all of my headings has that new color based on the main event theme. I'll go ahead and change this to, let's see, I'll change this to something a little more blue here. Here's the, too many options to choose from. I'll go for Bandit. So here's Bandit, and we can see Bandit has the Work Sans font. So they all have their different font colors and effects. Some fonts are larger, they're taller and wider than others. So when you change the fonts on your document, you may notice that it's either increasing the size of your document or it's decreasing the size there as well. So go ahead and click on the Design tab. Go ahead and select a theme. Right? We can always go back to the Office theme, but go ahead and try them out and find the one that you like there as well. Once you find that, just scroll through your document and notice how it's changing all the elements of your document here. and come right back. Now, here is where themes really come into play. So I did reset this back to the Office theme here. So another really nice thing to do is to select a document formatting. So we have a lot of opportunities to interact with tables, charts, images, shapes, text boxes, but even your entire document as well. So another alternate to choosing a theme is we can choose a document formatting. So notice here on the Design tab, we have a really wide list of document formatting. So the best way to explain how these work is just to go ahead and hover over one. So here's the default document formatting. If I choose this one, we will notice that my headings are different. So my title is bigger. It has a different color. Let's see what the font is. It's still the same font, but it just looks a little different, right? So when we choose a document formatting, it's going to format any of the heading 1 styles that we've chosen. So heading 1, heading 2, the title styles, all these styles will be updated based on the document formatting that we choose. So if we have any existing heading 1s in here, which we do, these will all change based on the document formatting. Let's take a look and see how the document formatting can improve our document. Here's the third one. So it's just basic, it's simple. Here's the basic stylish. So it gives a green accent there for our headers. Here's black and white. So basic here, black and white, capitalized. So we'll notice all of our heading 1s, they're all in caps. Here is the black and white classic. So we can see some of the paragraph spacing has changed there for this one as well. And here's the black and white numbered. So it places a line and a number with all of our heading 1 styles. So again, it's all about the styles when we're choosing the document formatting. Wherever you have a header or a title or a different type of style, you'll notice the formatting change will take place there as well. So here's black and white 2013. Here is casual, right? Here is, this one is centered. So it center aligns my title, center aligns my headings here as well. And here's lines, which looks pretty elegant. Puts a nice line on top and it right align my title as well. And here's lines, simple. This one looks pretty nice as well, nice and clean. And then we have stylish lines. Right. And a couple more here. Minimalist, one of my favorites. And then we have shaded. Right? So these are things that we would spend a lot of time doing, but we already have these document formattings in here as well. I'm going to go ahead and choose a document formatting. And let's see what happens when I change the theme. So I'll go for, let's see, I'll go for this one here. Go for basic stylish. Then I'll change the theme to something else. And there you go. So if you combine a theme with a document formatting, you can really improve the look and feel of your document as well. So go ahead and do that. Go ahead and choose a document formatting. Once you find one that you like, go ahead and change the theme. Right? We can always reset everything. We can always go back to the basic style set. We can always go back to the Office theme here as well. So go ahead and explore, try those out. When you come across one that you like, a good combination, go ahead and apply it to your document and come right back. Welcome back. Our next task here for lesson 5 is to talk about templates. So we'll open up a template, we'll modify it, and then we'll save it as our own template. Right? So to do that, let's go ahead and open up an existing template. I'll click on the File tab here. And then I'll click on New to get to Templates. And we just want to keep it simple. We can create a template from scratch, but that would take a very long time. So let's just make some simple modifications to an existing template. And then we'll go ahead and save it here as well. So I want to do a search for logo where order form. I'll go ahead and press enter. And here it is. So go ahead and search for the logo where order form. Once you have it, let's just go ahead and open it here. And it's just a simple order form that was created in Microsoft Word that can be printed, or it can be filled out digitally here as well. I'll go ahead and click on Create. And so it opens up that particular document for me. So this one is just to order some clothing, right? So we have tables in here. You'll notice a lot of these templates that are created, most of them, they use tables. So here we can see the table design. And the reason that's the case is because tables really helps you to overcome some of the formatting issues that you may encounter when you're working with Microsoft Word. Every cell is its little kind of formatting environment, if you will. So you have more control. You can use more of the space on your document here as well. So let's go ahead and analyze this particular template here. So we can see that we have in the header, so here's the header space. We can see that we have a little icon here. And we have the title of the form, so logo where order form. We'll go ahead and change both of those. We have another little table here. Submitted by, phone, email. Maybe we don't want the address. Maybe remove those two lines there. And then down here is the actual order form. So the item, description, size, color, quantity, unit price, and amount as well. And then down here for the footer, we have the space to put the name of the organization. We can add a logo in here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on this. But the first thing I want to do is maybe I want to change the colors that are available. So I'll click on the Design tab and I'll change the theme. So notice if I change the theme, I can kind of get more of the look and feel that I want to here as well. So I can use an existing theme, or I can do something like choose my own color palette. Right? So I have color palettes to choose from here. And I can choose my own font if I want to. So right now, let's see what font is being used. This is using the default font, Calibri. So I'll click on the Design tab. I want to go ahead and change the font to, let's see, I'll go for Georgia. Why not? So everything changes to Georgia. For the colors, I'll choose another color palette here. Maybe I'll go for not something too bright. I'll go for Violet 2. So I just chose my own color palette. I chose my own font. Here are the effects as well. The effects are more for like tables and charts. I'll just go for a glossy effect here as well. And now what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and remove the address and the city state zip. I just want submitted by, phone, and email. So again, this is a table. I'll click on the Layout tab and I'll delete those rows. There we go. That looks better. I'll come down here, looking good so far. Now I want to go ahead and change the logo here, and I'll change the actual information. So to get into the header space, I can double click right here. So if I double click up here, this opens up the header space. So now I'm in the header. I can see that my ribbon is now displaying the header and footer tools. And now I can see this is also a table. So I'll just call this order form. So I'll just say order form. And if you want to, you can change the logo. I'll just right click here and I'll click on change picture. I want to use an icon. And let's see. Maybe I'll put a baseball cap instead, right? Remember, it comes with its own formatting, so I can go ahead and change the colors here if I want to. Probably should not do that because I don't really have any vibrant colors here to work with. So I'll just leave it as is. I'm done with the header. So I'll click on header and footer here and I'll close the header and footer. I can also just press the escape key to get out of there. And here we go. So I'll scroll back down here. So what I'll do is now I want to change the footer. So again, I can just go ahead and double click on the footer space. And now I can go ahead and put my information in here as well. I'll just say Mo's Athletic Clothing Co. Right? Then I'll change this logo. So I can right click on it and I can change the picture either from a image on my computer or I'll look for some type of stock image. Let's see if I can find something that's meaningful here. Maybe I'll look for icon. Sports. And let's see. I'll go ahead and use this one. Okay. So I'll go ahead and close the header and footer. I can even manage this here if I want to. I can give this table a quick design. Why not? I'll go ahead and do that. I'll close the header and footer. So we're just modifying a simple template here. So once we've made all the changes, this is good to go. Let's see if I can fix this table here. We choose the auto fit contents. There we go. So now I can see everything nice and neat here and I'm good to go. Right. So let's go ahead and lock in all those changes that I made. Let's go ahead and lock in the font, the colors, the effects, and this basic order form. So I'll go ahead and save this as a template. Now to save this as a template, we need to click on the File tab and click on Save As. Sorry about that. Once I click here, the key is I want to go ahead and give this file a name. So maybe I'll call this order form. But take a look at the save type. It wants to save it as a docx, which is a Word document. Well, I want to save this as a template. So what I'll do is I'll click here and I'll go down to where it says Word template. When I do that, it saves to the default location on my computer where the templates are saved. We don't want to change the location. We just want to go ahead and name it and press save. So I'll go ahead and press save. And once I do that, let's see what happens here. Right. So now, if I were to close this file and go back into, if I open Word the next time, I want to be able to access that template. I don't want to make a copy of that file. I don't want to remake it all over again. I want to be able to work right from it here as well. I can see it showing up right here as a recent file under Custom Office Templates. I'm going to go ahead and pin that right away. And now I can click on my pinned list and I can see my order form here as well. So I'll click here. And so what that does is it opens a separate copy. So it basically makes a copy of the file that you can use with all of the formatting that's saved in there as well, right? The original template remains intact. And that's the benefit of working with a template. makes a copy for you so that you can go ahead and just create that document while the original stays intact. For companies that this is a really nice tool to brand your Word documents and to make sure that your entire team is on the same page. They have the same document to work with here as well. So that is how we create a template. Let's move on to lesson number 6, controlling the flow of a document. We'll use this space to practice section breaks. Now, section breaks is all about the Layout tab. So we'll click on the Layout tab here. And on the Layout tab, we'll notice that we have different types of breaks. If I click on this drop down, I can insert a page break, which basically moves my content down to the top of the next page. We have column here as well. We'll take a look at that in just a little bit. We have a next page section break. So this basically will add a different section to our document on a next page. We can also create another section on the same page here as well. Now let's go ahead and see how these actually work. Right now, if you take a look at my status bar, if I right click on my status bar here, I want to make sure that we can see the section number. So just right click on your status bar. You can right click anywhere on there and make sure that the section is checked off here. This will allow us to see how many sections we have in our document. By default, when you create a Word document, it's just one continuous section, unless you specify that you want different sections in your actual document. Now, why would you want to create different sections in your document? Well, maybe I want a part of my document to have a 2-column orientation as opposed to just one long column. So let's do that. We're going to highlight my first 2 paragraphs here. And actually, I'll go here. I turned off my paragraph spacing. So I'll highlight my first 2 paragraphs here. And on the Layout tab, I am going to tell Word that I want this to be a 2-column orientation, almost like a magazine or a book. Right. So I'll go ahead and make this 2 columns. And as you can see, this particular part of my document has 2 columns. If you take a look at my status bar, it says that I'm in section 3. So before I had 1 section, but now I have 3 sections. So the area above my 2 column, this is basically section 1. So this is section 1, just 1 column orientation. Now here is section 2. So where I have my 2 columns here, this is section 2. And anything below that, this is going to be section 3 and onwards here as well. So that's one way. Now, if I were to continue adding text here to this 2-column orientation, it will continue to grow. And that's always going to be section number 2. So notice when I click here inside of my 2 columns, it says section 2. If I click on lesson 6, it says section 1. Anywhere below my 2-column section is section 3. So that's how that works, right? Now be very careful when converting your content to columns. I selected the paragraphs that I wanted to be in a 2-column orientation. If I did not do that, it would have converted my entire document to a 2-column orientation. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and undo that. And what I'll do, instead of selecting a chunk of text, I want to convert my entire document to a 2-column orientation. And so what it does, it goes to the end of the document and it wraps over to the next column here as well. Right? So we have 2 columns here that we're working with. I'll go ahead and undo that. As you can see, it can be a little problematic. So we want to be careful when we're working with our columns. So I'll just be very specific. I'll select these two paragraphs and I'll give these the 2-column orientation, and I'm good to go. Right. So go ahead and highlight some text and convert it to a 2-column orientation. Make sure you turn your sections on. After you convert a chunk of text to the 2-column orientation, go ahead and navigate your document and make note of the different sections that are available. So we're able to insert a column or a section for columns here as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at another type of break that we can insert. So again, under the Layout tab, if I click on the Breaks drop down here, I have what's called a Next Page section break. Let's go ahead and insert a Next Page section break. Basically what this will do, based on your cursor location, this will push the content down to another page and create a section. So remember, if I were to just insert a page break, just a regular page break, there's a difference between the two. So the page break just pushes the content down to the next page whilst remaining in the same section. But down here, this is a section break. So if I insert a next page section break, I can do some really nice things for that particular page. I can give it its own margins, orientation, and size here as well. So let's take a look at that. I'll go ahead and push my content down. I'll go from here. So I'll insert a next page section break. And we can see it pushes it down to another page, and now we are in section 4. So this page has its own section all by itself. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and change the orientation. So if I change this to landscape, notice it only changes this particular page to landscape, right? So we can change the orientation, the margins, and the size for each section or page section on our document. So if we were just working with one section, if we change the orientation, it would change the orientation for all of our pages. But because this is a section break, we can do something like that. And that's the main benefit of creating a next page section break. I can also change the paper size. I'll put the orientation back to portrait, and I'll make the paper size legal. So we can see this page, page 3, aka section 4, now is legal, while my other two pages, pages 1 and 2, they have the letter paper size. So this is a special section. I want to add my own formatting in here. I'll change the margins as well. I want narrow margins. So now I'm using more of the margins on the left and the right, whereas my other pages, I'm still way inside of those margins here as well. So that's one of the benefits of inserting a next page section break. You can have your own margins, orientation, size, and of course you can even add your own columns in there as well. So that is a benefit of working with these section breaks. Now, if you need to maybe work with a document that has sections in there, what you want to do is click on your Home tab, and on the Home tab, you want Word to show you where those section breaks are. So over in the paragraph command group, we'll click on this Show Hide icon here, and this is going to add some little code marks on our document to show us where those breaks are. It shows paragraph marks and tabs. Let's go ahead and turn that on, and let's see what we see here. So as we can see, we have a lot of paragraph marks here. I'm going to scroll back up here, and right here we can see that we had a section break here, a continuous. So continuous just means you're adding another section, but it's on the same page. Here's another point in which we had a section break. So this is a next page section break. If I scroll up here, here's another section break, continuous. This was for my 2-column orientation. and we have a page break. So this shows all the different breaks that are actually in the document. So if you ever needed to manage these sections, you can come in here, identify them, and you can simply just go ahead and delete the break right here. Just keep in mind, if you delete a section, what it does, it's going to merge the formatting from the section above. So if I were to delete this section break here, it's going to inherit the 2-column orientation here as well. So turning on that show hide is a good first step to finding out where the breaks are in your document and how you can manage them as well. But in this case, we're able to do something like change the orientation of our document and give it its own margin and size there as well. So go ahead and insert a next page break. Go ahead and change the margins, the orientation, and the size, and make any other formatting that you want in there. You may want to convert it to 2 or 3 columns, and you are good to go. Let's move on to lesson number 7. We'll insert a cover page. We'll insert a table of contents. We'll caption a few items and add an index. And then we'll kind of preview what we can do with the outline view as well. Let's go ahead and insert a cover page into our document. It's a really nice way to make our document look more professional and just add some more content as well. To add a cover page, there's several ways that we can do that. We did take a look at the quick parts gallery earlier on. We can find cover pages in there. But if we click on the Insert tab right here, we can go ahead and actually insert a cover page. We can go ahead and choose from a list of options. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Now, when you insert a cover page, it always inserts at the very top of your document. It's the cover page. So it will always insert at the top. So we do not necessarily need to go to the top of our document to insert this here. So here's different cover pages. Again, these are all designed. Most of them are tables with some different formatting and some of the quick part fields that are pulling in the properties of the document. Let's go ahead and choose a cover page and add that here. So some of these are simple, some more complex with pictures and shapes, icons. Right. Maybe I'll go with this simple one here. I'll go ahead and click on this one. And notice how it inserts it at the very top of our document. And so what this does is it's pre-programmed. So these are the fields that we saw earlier from our quick parts gallery. So this allows me to choose a particular date. So I'll go ahead and put today's date in there. Here's the document title and the document subtitle. So I'll give this, let's see, MS Word training, and the document subtitle, I'll give this module 4. Typically these would be filled in automatically if this information was actually being recorded in the properties of the document. So, but in this case it was not, so I had to come in here and enter it manually. If I scroll down, I'm already the author, so my name pops in here automatically. And if I go ahead and put in my company name in here, this will actually show up here as well. All right, so if I type Learnit in here, and there we go. Right. Interestingly, as I make the changes here for the document title, subtitle, company, if I go to the properties of the document now, so if I click on File and click on Info, I can see now that the title that I entered here is showing up. We show all properties here. Right, so here's the title, here's the subject, module 4. So if I add the data here, right, so let's say this is in progress. If I were to add the information here, it would automatically populate anywhere that these fields are appearing on my document. But as you can see, I can go ahead and add it from the cover page there as well. Right. So I'll go back here. And so that's the cover page. Really nice looking. Have some shapes in here, some fields that we can use as well. I can also change the cover page. So if I want to go ahead and remove the current page, I can remove it. No harm, no foul. And then what I can do is insert another one. So maybe I'll go for, let's say, this one. Right. Now that I've entered the information, it automatically populates. Right. And there we go. So there is the cover page. So go ahead and insert a cover page. Go ahead and remove it. Go ahead and add another one. And then come right back. Our next task here is to insert a table of contents. Now, one of the really nice things about a table of contents is that Microsoft Word will automatically create the table of contents for us based on the type of headings that we use. Now remember, we have different headings here. We have heading 1, we have heading 2, and we also have a heading 3. We can't see it right now, but we can pull up our full list of headings to be able to find that here as well. So because we have these headings that are in here, notice all of my lessons have the heading 1 style. So lesson 7 has the heading 1 style, lesson 8. And so what we can do is we can start to simplify our document. I'm going to click on the View tab, and what I want to do is turn on the navigation pane. And what that's going to do, it's going to give me a pane over here on the left, and I'll be able to navigate my document. 5, 6, 7, and 8. So if I click on any of those lessons, it will jump right to where that lesson is. So let's go ahead and turn on the navigation pane. And we can see our navigation pane appear here on the left. So if I click on lesson 5, it jumps to lesson 5 on my document. If I jump to lesson 8, it goes to lesson 8. So the heading 1 is a really, really special heading in Microsoft Word. It's the first step to being able to navigate your document. Now, in order for us to create a table of contents, we must have heading 1 or heading 2 styles in our document. So let's go ahead and see how this works. Now, unlike the cover page, when you're inserting your table of contents, it is based on your cursor location. I want this to be maybe right underneath my title here. So I'll go ahead and press enter under my title. I'll enter a space twice. And here I'll go ahead and insert my table of contents. Now to do that, I can click on the References tab. And on the References tab, so first I'll choose my location. And 2, I'll click on the References tab. Over here on the far left, we see our table of contents. So if I click here, well, notice that I have 3. I have automatic table 1. And notice it says right there, includes all the text formatted with the heading 1 to 3 styles. So this one just says contents. The next one says table of contents. This one does the same thing, just a little different type of formatting. And then you can create your own manual table, which is a lot of work. I want Microsoft Word to do the work for me. So I'll go ahead and use automatic table 2. And look at that. It automatically inserts the table of contents for me based on my headings. So let's see how this works. So if I open this document for the first time, here's my cover page, here's my title. I want to go to lesson 8. So it says control click to follow the link. And it brings me to lesson 8, just like that. Right? So that's how the table of contents works. Now, again, we need to be using the heading 1, 2, or 3 styles. So let's go ahead and make a simple change to the table, to my document here. So let's say I have 2 tasks here under lesson 5. So for this one, I'll give this one a heading 2 style. And for this one, I'll also give this a heading 2 style. Now you'll notice when I converted those two to the heading 2, if you take a look at my navigation pane over here, I can see that they are now included on my navigation pane because they are a heading 2. So if I go back to my table of contents, you're saying, well, Mo, we don't see the heading 2s in here for lesson 5. Well, when I click on my table of contents, I see this little update table icon here. And if I click there, Word is going to search. It's going to rescan the document and look for all of my heading 1s, 2s, and 3s. I'll choose update the entire table and I'll press OK. So there we go. So here's the lesson 5, which is a heading 1. And here are the 2 sublevels that I just added here as well. Right? So that is how that works. So that's a really nice feature. And as a matter of fact, if I were to even move my headings around, my table will automatically update and display the page number that that particular heading is on as well. So that is how that works. I'm going to go to the end of my document here. I'll jump down to using mail merge, and I'll just add one more lesson here. I'll call this lesson 9. And I'll just say wrapping up. And I'll give this a heading 1 style. Now I'll go back up to the top of my document and let's see if that displays on my table of contents. I'll update the table, update the entire table, and there we go. So that's the beauty of it. So again, these headings are a really big deal in Microsoft Word. It allows us to turn on the navigation pane and be able to simply move back and forth in our document from one place to the next. It's the key to having Microsoft Word automatically inserting a table of contents for us as well. So go ahead and insert a table of contents. Go ahead and add a few more heading 1 and heading 2s to your document. Go ahead and update your table of contents. Just confirm everything is working. And go ahead and click on the links and navigate through your document and come right back. Our next task is to go ahead and add an index. Well, what exactly is an index in Word? Well, if I click on the References tab, I will see over here in the Index command group, I have Insert Index, I have Mark Entry, and I have Update Index. Well, if I hover over it, it tells me that I can add an index listing keywords and the page numbers they appear on. So if I wanted to go ahead and highlight some keywords here to be able to add them to an index, I can let my user know the actual page number that actually has that key phrase. So the first step is we need to mark different text for entry. And once we've marked all of our entries, we can insert the index. It's going to provide us with a little list. It's going to have the text followed by the page number over here on the right as well. So I'll go ahead and just mark a few. We can create our own index. I'll go to the top of my document here. I'll press Control Home. I have my cover page there. And I'll go ahead and, you know what? I'll just go ahead and add this here. I'll add lesson 5 to the index. So I'll go ahead and mark that for entry. So here's the main entry, just says lesson 5. There's some other more advanced features that we can use, but we'll just keep it simple here. We just want to go ahead and mark this for entry. So I'll click on Mark. I'll go ahead and close this. Notice it turns on the Show Hide, so I'm seeing all of the code in here. I'll go down to lesson 6. And I'll go ahead and mark that for entry as well. I'll click on Mark, then I'll click Close. Then I'll go down to lesson 7. And I'll mark that for entry. And maybe I'll do one more. I'll jump to lesson 9. I'll mark that for entry. I'll go ahead and click close. So I just highlighted a couple of different text here, and maybe I'm not using the table of contents. Maybe I don't have the navigation pane turned on. I want my user to be able to know where to find those particular lessons, what page they're on. Maybe this is a really long document, so I'll add the index there as well. First thing I'll do, I'll turn off the show hide to get rid of these marks. And I'm going to go ahead and place maybe I'll place it right here. I'll choose a location where I want to insert my index. And the next step after marking all of my text is to click on the References tab and choose my location and actually go ahead and insert the index. Now let's see what that looks like. So once I click here, here's my index dialog box. It's just asking me a few questions here. Do I want it to be indented? How many columns do I want? Well, I just want 2 columns. That's perfectly fine. And over here is a preview of what it would look like. But I want to right align the page numbers. I don't want the page numbers to kind of be nested like this. So that looks a little better. I want it to look like that. We can change the tab leader, make it a solid line. I'll leave it here as a dashed line. And that's it. Once I press OK, it's going to insert a index that looks like this. The text on the left, followed by the page number on the right. I'll go ahead and press OK. And here's my index, right? So it's not a hyperlink, but it tells us what page. So lesson 5 can be found on page 1. Lesson 9 can be found on page 4, right? So we'll cover how to use bookmarks in another course to navigate to specific places in our document as well. So go ahead and mark a few words or chunk of text, and then go ahead and insert your index and come right back. For our last task for lesson 7, we'll just take a look at what we can do with the outline view. So the outline view is really meant for really long documents. There's a lot of really nice tools that we can take advantage of. We can move chunk of text around, and we can promote or demote different headings, different places in our document. So I'll go ahead and click on the View tab here. And on the View tab, I want to go ahead and change it from Print Layout to Outline View. So here is our outline view. To get out of outline view, we need to click on Close Outline View. But for now, we're seeing our document at a very high level. So typically we would come in here, not because we want to see the full details of our document, but the high level items. So we have some outline tools, which is what we'll take a look at. Over here on the left, we have some basic tools. And over here on the right, we have some more advanced tools as well. So right now I'm seeing my entire document. I'll go ahead and turn on the text formatting. So once I do that, I can see more. I'm not seeing my cover page, not a part of the outline, but here is my table of contents, lesson 5, 6, 7, so forth and so on. So what if I wanted to simplify this document? What if this were a 200-page document? I don't want to see all of the paragraphs and all of the lines. I just want to focus on all of my headings here. So what I can do is I can click right here where it says Show Level. I can say, just show me all of my level 1 items. And notice how it rolls up our document for us into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different segments. So here's lesson 5. If I need to go ahead and focus on lesson 5, I can double click on that plus sign there. And now it expands the content of lesson 5 for me. And now I can go ahead and work on lesson 5, right? So right now we're taking a look at all of my level 1 items. If I change this to level 2, this includes the 2 level 2 items that I had here under lesson 5. I just want to see level 1. And I'll go ahead and open up, expand lesson 5 by double clicking on it. If I double click again, it collapses it. I'll expand it. And maybe what I want to do is I want to go ahead and promote this level 2 item here to a level 1. So I'm going to go ahead and promote this to level 1. And so as you can see, I didn't have to highlight the text and click on styles and give it the heading 1 style. I can just simply, with one click of a button, just promote that to level 1. And so I've basically promoted those to level 1. So if I close my outline view and go back, I can see clearly right here, these have been promoted to a level 1 item. If I update my table of contents, we can see that they have been promoted to level 1 here as well. I'm going to go back into outline view and I'll demote them, put them back to where they were. So I'll go here and I'm going to go ahead and make this a level 2 item. I can keep going. I can make this level 3, keep on going like that. I'll just make this a level 2. I'll also make this one a level 2 item. I'm going to go ahead and I only want to see my level 1 items and I'm good to go. Now, another thing that I can do is if I wanted to move something around, let's say I wanted to move mail merge to the second lesson here. Think about doing that in Microsoft Word. We would have to copy and cut that entire segment, go back up to lesson 6, insert some kind of break, and then insert the content there. But now that I'm in outline view, what I can do is grab this, and now I can move this entire chunk to any other place in my document. I'm going to move it right here in between lesson 5 and 6. And just like that, I can do that. Let's close the outline view and let's see what that looks like. And look at that. So the entire content of lesson 8 has now been moved up in between lesson 5 and lesson 6. So a really nice tool to be able to manage long documents here. I'll go back to the outline view. I'm going to put this back down here as well. I think that's it for now. Let's take a look at all of our levels. And I just want to show the first line only. So this is another option, and it condenses the paragraphs for you, so you're not seeing all of that detail. Right. So lots of different tools that we can use to manage our document here. So go ahead and take a look at the outline view. There's some others in here, such as the master document. This is really for book writing, so not really diving into that here as well. Right. I'll close the outline view. Go ahead and turn on the outline view. Go ahead and promote a few items, demote a few items. Go ahead and move some chunk of text from one place to the next in your document and come right back. For lesson 8, we'll be using mail merge via Outlook email to send out a message to our really important customers here as well. Here's the text below that we want to use to conduct the mail merge. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this to the clipboard. And I'm going to go ahead and open up a new document. So I can press Control N to open up a new document, or I can just click on File and click on Blank Document here as well. I'll press Control N, open up a new document. So when it comes to mail merge, we have a mail merge wizard. So I'll click on the Mailings tab here. And right here on the Mailings, it's all about mail merge. Well, what I want to do is start a mail merge. I'll click on this drop down here, and I'll have Word help me out in terms of what I want to do. I'm going to skip all of these here: email, letters, labels. I want the step-by-step mail merge wizard. It's going to give me a lot of guidance along the way, and we'll answer questions as we're being presented here as well. So here is step 1 of 6. I need to go ahead and select my document type. Well, I'm not sending out letters, I'm sending out email messages. So I'll go ahead and click on email messages here. On the bottom, it confirms to me that I can send email messages to a group of people, and then I can personalize the email message that each person receives. I'll go ahead to the next step, which is the starting document. So again, it asks me some questions here. How do I want to set up my email messages? Do I want to use the current document? Do I want to start from a template? Or do I want to start from an existing document? Well, I do want to use this document here. So I'll go ahead, paste the details of my message here. And I'll go ahead and just add a few spaces. Right. So I'm using the current document, and I'll go ahead and click on next to select my recipients. Now, I have a couple of options here. I can either use an existing list, I can select from Outlook contacts, or I can type a new list. Well, I'm using Outlook, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on select from Outlook contacts. So notice whatever option I choose on the top, the options on the bottom changes here. When I chose select from Outlook contacts, it wants me to choose my contacts folder. So if I click on use an existing list, it's asking me to browse to that database that I have saved. I can use an Excel file if I wanted to, or I can type in a list manually. So this is what it looks like. I can just type in each record on each line one by one, but I want to select from Outlook contacts. So I'll click choose contacts folder. And here's my sandbox account. I already have Outlook open, so it's pulling up my personal contacts. I'll go ahead and press OK. And so whether we're using the existing Outlook contacts or we're using an Excel file that has these fields, last name, first name, title, company, so forth and so on, or whether we are creating or typing the list, this is what the database looks like here. So from here, it's pulling in my personal contacts, and so I can go ahead and choose who I want. This is blank, I'll remove that. I can sort the list if I want to, I can filter. Typically, you would send out an email using mail merge if you want to send out a mass email to a large group of people, but you want to personalize each message, maybe add their name in there without typing their name in. Microsoft Word will pull in their name for us and add it to the greeting part of the message for us. So for now, I'm okay with what I have. I'm going to go ahead and press OK. So the next thing to do is to write my email message. So here we go. So it's telling me if I have not already done so, go ahead and write my message now. I already copied and pasted the message in here, so I'm good to go. Now, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and add some of the recipient information. So the first line of my email is going to be the greeting line, right? So I'll go ahead and drop in the greeting line here. So insert the formatted salutation. Here's a little preview of what it would look like. I can say dear or to. I'll actually leave it blank. I'll just use the first name here. So this is what it would look like here as well. Right. I'll go ahead and press OK. I can cycle through them to see what they would look like. So there's Jessica Hudson. Here's Megan Bowen. Adele Vance. So that's what that first line would look like here. Right. I can actually do something like this. So just different salutations or greetings that we can use. I'll go ahead and press OK. I'll just leave everything as normal. It's an email, so right. Now the next thing I want to do, I want to go ahead and personalize the message. So what I want to do is look for opportunities where I can personalize this message. So maybe right here where it says our growth would not be possible without customers like you, I can probably enter their name here. So for example, Mo, our growth would not have been possible without loyal customers like you. So to do that, I'm going to use one of these fields under mailings. So right here, we have insert merge fields. So these are the fields that are in that database that we created. Well, I want the first name to be inserted there. So I'm going to go ahead and insert the first name right in between these two sentences. So I'll place my cursor there. I'll put the first name and I'll add a comma, space, and I'll change that to a lowercase o. I'm going to add another line as well. I'll say, please confirm you are still with, and then I'll insert their company. So I'll insert the company information in here and add a period. So 3 opportunities where I'm customizing this message. Their name will appear here, their full name. Their first name will appear here as a part of our appreciation, and their company name will appear here based on what we have on record for them. The next thing to do is to preview the email messages. So let's see what they look like. So for example, here's the first one for Adele. So Adele Vance, as you may know, this marks our 16th year of doing business. And then here, Adele, our growth would not have been possible without you. Please confirm you are still with, well, Adele doesn't have a company listed here. I could go back to my contacts and add a company for Adele. Thought I had one. Well, let's go to the next one. I can cycle through my recipients here. All right, so here's Jose Montana. Please confirm you're still with the NFL. Right. Aaron Dodgers. All right. So we can do that here. Jessica Hudson, The Voice. And that's it. So the next thing to do is to complete the merge. Now I do have the opportunity to search for a particular recipient in the list, and I can also exclude one. So for example, I don't have a company for Megan, so I can exclude this recipient. And I'll go ahead and click on Next to complete the mail merge. It says mail merge is ready to produce your email messages. I'll click on electronic mail. And now is where I can put my subject line, and I'll just put AdWorks here. It's going to the email address that we have in the database, and I want to send all records, and that's it. I'll go ahead and press OK. And we can see just quickly there, cycled through all of my messages, and I'll go to my Outlook and check my sent items folder, and we should see those in here. I'll bring that over here. And here you go. So here are the different sent items here as well. I'll go ahead and open up one of the messages for James Fox. So here you go. Now, these are all fictitious emails, so this was going nowhere. But here, this is the benefit of working with mail merge. Right. So pretty nice to be able to use. And that is mail merge. Once I'm done, I can go ahead and close this out, and I am good to go. Congratulations on completing our Microsoft Word Intermediate course. Just as a recap, we're able to apply and create styles to our document. We're able to insert and manage tables. We had some fun inserting and managing charts. We're able to explore and use quick parts, create some reusable content. And then for module 4, we're able to manage themes and templates. We're able to apply some page layout options, such as 2-column orientation and having a next page section break. We're able to reference objects by turning on the navigation pane, including a table of contents, and also inserting an index as well. We're also able to perform mail merge. So congrats on completing the course, and I hope to see all of you in a future course.